Hey, good morning, men. Pastor Ted here. Hope you're doing all well. I assume by now garages, basements, and everything else have been cleaned. Certainly it has for me. I think there's some basement stuff I still have. Hey, listen, why am I dressed? Unfortunately, this week there are 3 funerals in our church, 2 in our church family and 1 in my extended family. So I'm on my way to do officiate at a funeral right now. I just want to speak a word of life over you today. You know, as everything unfolds, I think as men in particular, our connection is so often with this thing we do, our work. And that's why many men, when they're retired, really, they just start to they freak out. They don't know what to do, get up every day, and now what? And then, of course, their wives freak out because now he's there all the time. But whether you're married or single, it's important that we know that our identity is not founded in the things that surround us. I think all that's been ripped away from us, even our recreational things. So I want to speak a word of life over you, encourage you from Psalm 139. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but can I please ask you, read Psalm 139. Read it over, and I think you're going to find out that you are much more valuable than the things that you do. Even though that's our kind of our DNA, doing things, I certainly have that. When we're all done doing, then we have to really see, okay, so what is this all about? Psalm 139 starts off with, O Lord, you've searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. I've read this, I don't know how many times, and I've recommended it to so many different people. But I begin to realize as my doing has now stopped. In fact, Phyllis said, so what are you doing today? I thought, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing my stuff. It connects with a series, and I want to encourage you to watch this when you have, usually in the evening is when we do our TV watching. It's called The Chosen. The Chosen. You could Google it, and there's actually an app for it, the way it has to be watched. And it's about the backstory on all the disciples, one by one, on Mary and so on. And of course, some of it is made up, but it kind of fills in those gaps, what exactly happened when he, as the man was lowered down and Jesus healed him, and the uniqueness of the disciples. Again, some of it is drama, but it's just well done. But the thing that stood out to me, just really, and that's why I link it into this psalm, is the connection point that Jesus had with every single one of his disciples was calling them by name. The connection he had with even Mary, with the demons, calling her by name. And I thought to myself, how true that is. No matter how many things I read, no matter how many degrees I may have, no matter how many things I've been through and not been through, the key is that God called me by name. You are Ted. And when he called me back at Virginia Tech in 1972, he called me by name. That was overwhelming to me, a personal, intimate God. And since that day that I accepted him back in 1972, to this very moment of this very morning in my quiet time, I am overwhelmed by how personal and intimate God is to me, Ted. I have degrees, I have titles, I have been in many different places. But there's something about knowing that he knows me. He knows the struggles, he knows the victories, he knows all that stuff, and he knows my gifts and abilities, and he points me in the direction of growing in those truths. So, man, I want to encourage you today. Read Psalm 139, but read it maybe more than once, and just realize this is how intimately God knows me. Is there anything too great for him? Is there any sin that he can't cause me to overcome? Is there any victory that I can't point back and look at him? Is there any gift that he's given me that I need to release now and use for his kingdom? So, men, encourage you today. Be valuable to your families. Maybe it's your turn to look at them and see their gifts and abilities and speak that over their lives as well. Be a blessing to each person that God brings across your pathway. We love you. Look forward to seeing you soon. I hope soon. God bless you.